Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the We Bought a Franchise podcast. I'm Jack Johnson.
I'm Jill Johnson.
And we are here with two very special guests, two guests that you guys are going to learn so much from, and also a record-setting guest because Kathryn Allen, this is your second time on our podcast. For those of you that are longtime listeners, you'll remember Kathryn joined us about a year ago. She is an owner of a Soccer Stars franchise in the Bay Area. We also have another Soccer Stars franchise owner with us. We have Morgan Noller. Both of them are top performers. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Hey Jack, hey Jill, thanks for having us.
Of course, and we're thrilled, right? Because you listen, for those of you listening out here, with Kathryn, you have the system-wide MVP of 2024, and you have Morgan, who is like this killer, like closer at going out and getting like big accounts. They both are growing like crazy. And so since we have two of you guys on the line, I think the best thing for us to do is maybe start off with a little bit of order. Morgan, let's start with you. Tell us, what has it been like to be a franchise owner? What's been your experiences? And tell us about you.
Yes, so it's been amazing. I think we also want to talk a little bit about our backstory. Kathryn and I met before preschool, right, Kathryn? It was a long time ago. So we've grown up together, and to be franchise owners in the same company is kind of bizarre. We never saw this happening for ourselves. We did start a scrunchie company when we were very young, and we sold a lot of scrunchies that summer. The company did not last past the one summer, but we've always been kind of that entrepreneurial spirit where I think best friends like to talk about a lot of things, but rarely do women talk about business. And Kathryn and I have always been that way. It's not just about family life or social life. We want to talk about business. What's our next venture? Where are we going? So the franchise world was probably always going to happen for me. And when I came to Kathryn, she immediately introduced me to you, Jack, and Jill, and I met your podcast and started listening. And it was a very easy decision to go down this path. I never thought it would be Soccer Stars. I thought it was a brick and mortar. I was thought coffee shop, something glamorous that I could just kind of be absentee in. That was also something on my list. So being a franchise owner in Soccer Stars has been very rewarding. It's probably the best job I could ask for. It's so fun to have coaches on the field, kids on the field, and I love the support from corporate, and it's just a great group of franchisees.
Awesome. Well, Kathryn, you got a tough act to follow there.
You're up.
I really do. Morgan, you're made for this. So being a franchise owner, never saw that coming either. Worked for a senior care franchise for 13 years as the head of marketing. So I was there building out all the marketing systems and collateral, writing the collateral website, all the things to help support all these franchise owners. And I loved that. I loved watching these owners be successful. And, so that was really fun.
You were fabulous at that. By the way, for all of you listening, Kathryn and I worked at the same home care franchise.
Yes.
And she's right. I mean, I was just thinking about it because we're all actually going to a conference this weekend, a franchise conference. And I was thinking about it actually about an hour ago. All the work we used to put into those conferences, Kathryn, all like the prep for the franchisees and making sure that we had, great content for them. And you did such a great job of always sort of quarterbacking that. I was always so impressed.
Thank you. Yeah. So, walking that journey, and then when that journey was coming to a close, I introduced Morgan to you about her franchise journey, and doing so was like, hey, Jack, let's catch up. Talk to me about franchising, Jack and Jill. And now I'm, an owner of Soccer Stars. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary in July 9th to be specific. And MVP the first year, growth. I've, doubled my growth already. I have lofty goals and plan to exceed said set goals per usual. And now joining the Franchise Insiders team, I'm so excited to work with other business executives, moms and different people, and really share just the joy that franchising has brought me the flexibility to be with my kids and be there for all the moments that I would be missing, like volunteering, taking them to sports practices, things like that. In my old corporate job, 9 to 5 or 6 on back-to-back Zoom calls, wouldn't have that, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do that, but now I can, and I can build a business that I'm proud of, and it brings me so much joy, happiness, meaning, purpose, watching my coaches out there with these kids, reconnecting with the community, partners. It's just, all of it has been great. And so super excited to be on the Franchise Insiders team and able to share this with other potential people looking for franchise ownership.
I love that. And for those of you keeping score, Kathryn and Morgan, they both joined us as franchise consultants, and we're very excited to have them. And there's a lot to unpack in what Kathryn said. I think the first place I want to go, and I know you probably have places that you want to go too, but I think goal setting. I think Kathryn mentioned, you mentioned goal setting, and I know that whenever Jill and I have had a big year, it's always been because we have set a goal. We've said, this is where we want to end up. Maybe you guys can talk to us about goal setting for franchisees and how the importance of it, and your opinions on the subject.
Or you want to go first?
Yeah, I think so. Goal setting is hugely important for a franchisee. I think building your business out, knowing where you want to go every year is very important for me. Soccer Stars started as something very part-time. I didn't have huge goals in mind. I just wanted to make a little bit of money on the side and do something fun and be a franchise owner. And then as I went into year 2, I realized this could be big. This is exciting. So that's when the goals changed, right? At first, it was just get profitable, grow, grow, grow. And now it's, okay, the growth is there. The relationships are there. I'm now getting called for business, which is exciting. So my new goal is then, what kind of profit can I get? Not revenue. The revenue's there, and it's been there for a long time. And I think that's very important for franchisees to understand when they go into setting their goals. What is the revenue? Sure, you have revenue. You can make $1 million, but what's the profit? And so looking at the profit and loss, I think for me specifically, and maybe Kathryn can speak to this, a goal of ours was obviously to get the revenue, but it was never to look at the profit and loss as a tool to use. It felt like a report, because when you're a new franchisee and you're looking at all these goals, there's so many systems and operations in place. I think the profit and loss feels like it's a report card or something that you're kind of giving a teacher. And now going into the new goals and the growth and the profit that I really want to see, I'm using that profit and loss statement monthly as a giant tool to make sure that those goals are going to be met.
Huge.
Yeah. So, like Morgan, I think, at the beginning, it was just fast and furious, like build this program. My goal was build the utmost quality program, while growing as fast as possible. That was year 1. Then you start having that data coming in, right? Like the P&L that Morgan referenced, and you can see the numbers. And so then it was like, okay, like revenue's coming in, that's great. And what's great about franchising is the franchisor gives you those numbers. So for us, we know what, for example, payroll. So perfect example. My whole thing was quality, right? And I had different goals. I don't want my coaches calling off last minute. Training, making sure they're executing on the curriculum. So I created incentive plans to incentivize those behaviors and the goal of the quality. And then from there, so that first year, my payroll was a little high, and corporate flagged that. And they said, Kathryn, we got to get that percentage back down in line where it's supposed to be. So this year, my goal has been, okay, I need to be at the 28%. And so I'm at 30% right now, but I've been watching that every month. And so keeping within that goal. And then just in terms of growth, again, this is why a franchise is beautiful. You have the corporate team holding you accountable, giving you the tools. Here's, we have something called the business builder. This is like the number of locations you need to be adding. Like we have a CRM, all the things to ensure that we're setting those goals, hitting those goals. And, the team holds us accountable, which is, again, why I like franchising. Because if you were doing this on your own, you don't necessarily have that built-in accountability buddy. You got to go out and find it yourself.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, I think you being in year 2, having payroll under 30%, That's
Very good.
that's excellent.
Thank you.
You know, I think anytime you can honestly get it, excluding a manager, if you can get your labor below 40%, you're doing really well. So clearly, you guys have that figured out, and I'm so glad you brought this up because you're right. I really do think first year is all about focusing on growing the revenue, understanding what you're getting into, becoming a franchise owner, not focusing as much on, damn, I've got to be profitable. No, know that year one is an investing time. Year two is where we can start to sharpen the pencil. I will say that as a team at Franchise Insiders, this is something we're trying to arm our clients with, our franchise searching clients. And for those of you who don't know, our tagline is franchise owners helping future franchise owners. Every one of us, Morgan, Kathryn, myself, and Jill, either current or former franchise owners, and we can really help you guys understand what it's like. And so one of the tools we just created is an exit strategy planner, because we are seeing so much now what people are looking for in terms of exit, what EBITDA number that is. And so that's a tool that is almost ready for public release.
Almost. You're getting there.
That we think will really benefit franchise owners. I think as they start to grow and have that aiming point, okay, I want my EBITDA to be here so that I can sell my business for this. So it's great to have an exit point in mind.
Yeah, and I think speaking of exit point, my question for you too is, how's the transition from the corporate world or from what you were doing previously to becoming a franchise owner? Like, how did you guys find that? What were the good things, the more challenging things? Can you just share a little bit about your experience?
So I think that this is interesting. So in the corporate world, you have a very defined role, right? Well, if you're in a startup, maybe you wear many hats. And so through my progression in my last job, I did wear many hats. But at the end of the day, I was marketing. That's what I was doing, right? When you go into franchise ownership, at the beginning, if you don't have a general manager right away, which I did not, I was that business owner model, you're wearing all the hats. And like marketing is an area I love. It's an area I think I'm pretty good at and I'm comfortable with. Uh, Legal, accounting, HR, like those are like recruiting, those weren't my skill sets or my knowledge base. So I think just for new franchise owners, and then like in a given day, right, you're going like, okay, I gotta drive enrollment for my classes, and now I need to hire coaches, and whatever that is, you're kind of going between the different things. But then the beauty becomes, as you grow and you realize, even me coming from marketing, marketing, that's such a broad term. You kind of realize, okay, and again, like this is what I like to do. You're the boss, you own your own business. So the whole point of this is like, okay, what do you like to do? What are you good at? And then everything else you delegate and you hire someone else to do. So with my manager, Whitney, that's what I've done. Like, come like 6-8 months in, she started as a coach and then she came in and now is my manager, my right hand. I couldn't be here without her. I love Whitney. But she does all the things, training, all the things that I just don't want to, that are very important, but I just don't want to be doing. And so I'm focused on the vision and the growth of the company and the marketing and the business development, because that's what I like. And she's doing everything else that is, again, equally important, but not what I want to be spending my time on.
Yeah, I agree with what Kathryn said. I think the big transition for me, I was doing corporate event planning right before this. So I was still wearing a lot of hats, but it was very narrowly focused. And I think when you do start as an owner operator, it is all of the hats. And the biggest thing was the race to replace. Like, where do I want to replace myself and how fast can I replace what I'm doing? Marketing was not my background. I love operations, systems, finances, all of that. Shockingly, with how creative I am, I'm more like, give me the system, give me the finances, give me something that's very just very strict and something to follow, and I can do it. But the marketing was somewhere where I wanted to replace myself right away. And and then just starting to work smarter. I think I didn't have to work that smart before because it was so easy to find business and I wasn't trying to scale at the time. So using a virtual assistant, using AI, using things that can help us right away to replace where we can, has helped both of us be just that much better as owners.
So what do you guys think is more difficult at this point? finding and retaining quality employees or finding and retaining clients?
That's tough. I don't know that either is that hard. I don't know. Kathryn and I, we have really good group of coaches. I think I've heard you talk about it on the podcast before, Jack and Jill, about how it comes from the franchise owner, right? So Kathryn and I know we talk a little bit different in the way that we do our business models, but we both focus a lot on just keeping the coaches happy and giving them that kind of environment where they don't want to leave. So it's very rare that we have coaches that we're trying to turn over quickly. I think a lot of them are young. So I would say that's probably the most difficult is they're moving on and up in the world, which is amazing. It's a wonderful, resume builder for them. And then the business, once it's secured, I mean, it's yours to lose, right? So soccer, a lot of my contracts are contract pay. So it's not parent pay, and it's through districts, school districts, things like that, and that's just about building relationships. So a lot of B2B versus B2C for me, and that's not something that you lose. So I guess if I had to answer, maybe there's more turnover for sure with the coaches, but not a ton. We're pretty lucky that we have a great group.
Yeah, I would say that I feel very grateful and fortunate to have such an amazing team of coaches. You guys know I've spoken about this, how much I care about culture and building a solid culture. And that was one of my strategies out the gate because I believe the coaches it's like home care, like the heart and soul of our company. And so I pay them well, I recognize them, I do all the things that, give them meaning and purpose and meet the needs that they have. And so I'm pretty, again, yeah, there's a turnover of kids who go to college and things like that because they're younger. Some of them, not all of them. But no, I feel very fortunate in that area. And then in the sense of what Morgan talked about with like the B2B, yeah, like once you get the account, like with the school, and you're in there, like, again, very lucky, like just do a good job. And we've been lucky in doing a good job and we're still there. Breaking into new accounts is just, continuing to add, but we're holding on to those customers. And for the B to C, for my open enrollment, because that is a big percentage of my business. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just, I don't know, there's a churn with soccer. Like some kids, you know, you have a child, like some people just want to do it seasonally. It's not necessarily like a year round thing, even though we're year round. But yeah, I don't know.
I think that, I mean, honestly, I think I hear it and see it with both of you. It's a commitment to wanting to create a good culture, to take care of your employees. And I think that's really part of the fun of being a business owner. It's leading, it's teaching, it's helping, it's wanting to, yes, of course, we want to invest in a business and we want to build a successful business and we want to make money. We all do. And owning a business is the American dream. It's your ability to really go out there and build something. I mean, as I sit here, I've got my family's sign from our general store from the 1920s hanging over, here. And I'm sure, maybe it only made a couple $100 a year, but I'm so proud of it. And it's like one of my most cherished possessions because it shows that my family from the very beginning, coming over from Sweden, became entrepreneurs. And it's one of the coolest things you can do. But I think, and Morgan, you brought this up, when people come into it looking for a passive business or an absentee business, I understand that those are sexy terms. And for a while there, franchising really tried to be that. But what we're seeing is the owners that really kick the most ass, that the ones that succeed, put in the time in the first couple of years and put in the energy and create the culture and grow the business. And with that said, are you guys now, being 2 years in, are you starting to see more freedom for yourself now that you have the systems and the people? Is it becoming more life work balance friendly for you?
Yes, I think absolutely. I know when I came to you, Jack, that was what I told you. I wanted to be absentee or semi-absentee. I said those words thinking that was a reality. And it wasn't at first,
Everyone.
but yeah, everyone does, right? You look at that as like the big, beautiful dream of just buying something and letting it run its course. But I think absolutely right now, Jack, I think, yes, we are seeing that I can now take a vacation. I can go to the conference right? For
Right.
FranServe, the conference, I leave tomorrow. So it's nice to be able to do that. And the company's running itself and the employees are in place and everybody knows their role. And I don't think I could have done that last year. I truly don't. I think it would have made me very nervous for sure. Something maybe would have gone wrong and I would have fixed it no problem. But it's so nice to have taken multiple vacations with the family this year and more vacations planned. And I really am grateful for that.
Yeah. Also, yes, definitely. I would say that, the first year felt a little more reactionary. And you don't know what you don't know. So you're doing everything for the first time. There's that learning curve, right? And so one of my mottos is like, just be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like that is, if it feels uncomfortable for me, that means like do it. And like, I will grow from it and be better for it. So like after that year one though, it's like now I know what to expect. I have the people in place. I have a solid team in place. And we're being very much proactive and strategic, which I love. It makes me so happy when I can plan and I know what to. It's like, and we're just fine tuning, right? And it's so fun. It's so fun. So yes, absolutely.
I love that. So how are you guys? So obviously you've been working together for a long time, the scrunchy business. How do you guys work together now? Like, do you kind of share secrets? I know you guys have different approaches, which I think is very cool. Like how you're kind of focusing more on Morgan, you're focusing more on like the businesses, like the after school programs, and Kathryn, not maybe as much. But how are you guys? Are you guys, kind of tag teaming on things? Do you share ideas or challenge each other? How does that work with your dynamic?
That's a great question, Jill. Morgan, take it away.
I think it's the best of both worlds because we're so different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that friendly competition is always great, but we are uplifting each other all the time, and we are not as scared to be candid and say, "Hey, something went wrong." And that's so nice because it's a safe space for us, and it doesn't have to go through all of the franchisees. It's just
Yeah.
Kathryn and I talking to each other and brainstorming new ideas, or hey, this worked for me, and oh my gosh, you have to hear what worked for me. I had a similar situation, and so it's so nice. We're already sharing with the franchisees always, but to have your best friend that you can call, and if something goes wrong or you have a tough day, we're both moms, and I think there's kind of this nice dynamic between the two of us where not only can we talk about things with soccer stars, but how does that affect our daily life? What does that look
Mm-hmm.
like when our husbands come home and they're expecting dinner on the table and that's just not happening that day? Or, we need help with the kids and we want to make sure we're doing this work-life balance. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have. I wish more people did this and worked simultaneously in parallel to each other so that you can share in all of those different roles that you have day to day and maybe some challenges or how to help each other succeed.
I love that.
Yeah, Morgan and I have been best friends since we were 4. And so I feel like we're best friends. Morgan's my therapist. She's my marriage counselor. Like it is so nice, like to have each other that we trust, like just endlessly. And really complement each other. We're different people and have different personalities, but we're so complimentary and we just want the best for each other, like Morgan said, and we very much uplift and want each other to be successful, like so there isn't that like competition or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that between us. So it's nice, and it's nice to have a best friend that you're going through this together with, because life happens and things happen, and it's nice to have each other and just be able to vent and then move on.
Well, and here,
Yeah.
here you guys are. You're 2 years in with your franchise, and now you've already diversified. You've added a franchise consulting business, so you're doing it right. You're adding another revenue stream. And one of the first questions, I think Kathryn, you asked it of me, was if we look at the demographics of how many people Franchise Insiders helps, like what percentage are female versus male. And, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this stuff, but I think we should. So about 30 to 35% of our clients at Franchise Insiders historically have been female. And I think we all agree that we'd like to help lift more women up in becoming business owners and franchise owners. What do you guys think? How do you, what are your thoughts on that? How do you want to help more females get into franchise ownership?
Yeah. So, I've been posting on LinkedIn per the recommendation of a man named Jack Johnson. And in doing so, there have been a few people. One girl, Morgan, and I went to high school with. Another is a friend that our kids go to school together. And she reached out, interested to talk. And so I think that, yeah, it is interesting that women, I mean, that was, I posted about that, right? Like, wow, there's really interesting that it's only 30%. But when I think back to our days at the other company, majority, I think were male owners. However, a lot of the top performers were the women, right?
Yeah.
Jack, you remember that?
100%. Yeah.
So I think that women, us women, Morgan, Jill, we juggle a lot of responsibilities. And sometimes, I don't know. I don't want to say anything that offends anyone, but sometimes we're the ones who are out there, like organizing the activities for the kids and coordinating the sports, and there's a lot that us women do. And so I don't know. It seems like when I think about my friends and who I know, um, yeah, a lot of them have taken a step back from the corporate world, and they're home with the kids. And so I want to be able to say, hey guys, once the kids get a little bit older, you know, take a look at franchise ownership as an opportunity, because they're very smart, capable, intelligent, badass women. And I think some of them are interested in looking into that once the kids get a little older. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Kathryn. I think we're just seeing a huge shift. I think women are doing more than ever, but I think the men are also doing more than ever. I mean, my husband, as soon as he's home, I start working harder and more, and he takes over everything. So it's kind of like this nice balance. And I think um, not only am I getting some questions from LinkedIn about women in business, but I'm also getting it from some Air Force friends, right? Their husbands are about to retire. My husband's in the Air Force. He's looking at retirement. So he's kind of looking to me like maybe this is my time to shine. Maybe I'm doing the business side this time, and maybe he's starting to retire and not fly as often as a pilot. So while women are doing more than ever, and I think they should absolutely be looking at a franchise and business, the men are also doing more than ever too on the other end. And I just had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about this, about how her husband changed the diapers and does all the carpools and does a lot of the things that was, in the past had been just women. So I think you're going to start to see this shift and this balance where there's going to be more women in franchising for sure. And you're also going to see the men being totally fine with it and taking that back seat and saying, let me pick up the slack. Let me do all the coaching for the games and all the things that I want to do. And if you want to be in business, you go for it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where things go. And I'm very curious to check the demographics in a year and see where we are.
Well, I think you two are really good examples of women that can do it. You can do it all. I think it's overwhelming when you have the kids and the school, and I mean, just every little thing that you have to do all day to also run a business. But you guys are proof that you can do it. And I think more women seeing that, making it more visible, that it's totally possible, whether you have the husband that's going to help at home or have a full-time job, and finding a way to fill in those gaps, whether it's you two or bringing in extra help or something to that effect. But I love, seeing your guys' success stories to actually show women that they can do it, that you can be successful, you can run the household and be a badass in the office too.
I'm sorry, I'm still an 8-year-old on the inside. But no, I
stutter and you make fun of me. Fine.
No, listen, Jill's a badass. She's the badass here in our house. But I want to bring something up, female, male. Now that you guys have gone through it and you've been franchise owners, I want you to just think about this for a minute. Pretend that you had been out of the corporate world for 5-10 years. Do you think the training you got at Soccer Stars, if you hadn't been working in corporate America, and obviously you both came from different backgrounds besides soccer, do you think that training could have helped you if you'd taken 5-10 years away from the workforce? Would you have still been able to do what you did with the level of training they gave and support they give you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
And then I have a follow-up question for you. This is a question that comes up all the time as we help our franchise searching clients. Oh man, that royalty seems really expensive. I'm going to pay the franchisor 5 to 7%. Can I just do this myself? Could you guys have started a soccer coaching business without the brand Soccer Stars and the franchise support you get?
Yes, you could have. Would you scale and grow as fast with all the systems in place? Absolutely not. I mean, my husband's
Absolutely not.
coaching. We're both coaching our kids' teams right now, and it has nothing to do with Soccer Stars. It's just a rec league. But just watching the way that those leagues run and everything that they're doing, there's no way I would have been able to be where I am today without paying those royalties, paying the tech and marketing, specifically for me, the marketing, paying all of that. Yes, it absolutely helps you grow and scale a lot faster. Could you do it on your own? Sure, but never, ever this fast.
Not so, yeah, no. I feel like it would take maybe, I'm in year 2, maybe like 5, 6, 7 years to get where I am now. Yeah, no way.
And they've made a
I
lot
mean,
of
we talk,
mistakes, and the franchisees, the ones that you talk to, they've made mistakes. So being able to talk to other franchisees and work smarter from their mistakes and your mistakes, I mean, you can't, quantify that. That's amazing to be able to listen to all of those. And then you don't make those mistakes right away and you don't have to fumble as much because they've figured it out for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, starting Franchise Insiders, Jill and I probably, I don't want to say wasted because I think they were lessons, but I know that we tried a lot of different stuff. We tried different types of advertising and things like that some worked great and some didn't. But it makes it so like when you guys, when new Franchise Insiders consultants join our team, we give you guys all that stuff, right? We show you guys where the potholes are. We tell you, we introduce you to the great franchisors, and we tell you which ones we know are the good people in franchising. And it's the same with being a franchise owner. My thought has always been being a franchise owner is the hardest thing is to find those good people. And so if that royalty can replace someone I would need to hire who might quit, then it's worth its weight in gold. It's a bill I'm happy to have automatically debited from my account every week.
Absolutely.
So I think that's key for all of you out there is understanding that a good franchise will earn their royalty. But that's where validation, for those of you listening out there, validation means speaking to franchisees. Like if you're looking at Soccer Stars, talking to Morgan, talking to Kathryn, but maybe even taking it a step deeper and going into that FDD and finding someone that's left the system and calling them and saying, what happened? I think it's good to learn from as many people as you can. And our recommendation is typically talking to 5 to 7. Once you start to get serious and the franchise you're going to invest in. I just talked to someone the other day. He called me up about an automotive franchise. He's ready to move forward with them. First question was, how many franchisees have you talked to? He said 2. I said, you better go back for 5 more. Have you called someone that's left the system? So these are things that we as franchise consultants, and again, Jill and I are so thankful to have you two on the team because you guys are just so talented and great, and you're going to help change a lot of lives. But this is what we aim to do as franchise owners, helping future franchise owners, is to ask you guys the tough questions. And is to share the secrets to really vetting and understanding what makes for the right franchise fit for you.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about. The franchise
What
owners
else?
helping future franchisees. And Kathryn and I have done a lot of validation calls for Soccer Stars. So we're very used to helping people and being honest where we need to be honest and helping them make that decision. And it's exciting to branch out beyond Soccer Stars. Now we get to help lots of future franchisees find their way and match a business that fits their personality and their skill set, and be here to be honest.
Absolutely. And I think just, and that's where we're going to help match you to those really great franchises and franchisors, because they're a partner to you. And, Soccer Stars Youth Athletes United is the parent brand. They're amazing. The leadership team, the support, like they want us to succeed. And there's no doubt in my mind that they feel differently. Like they are just there for us around the clock. And that's, very special. And yeah, just will help help you be able to, identify similar, franchisors that can be a partner to you.
You know what? What struck me with Resi Brands, who is our franchisor with Pinks, is that the systems they implemented, the support, they made us smarter business owners. I mean, even as franchise consultants and a former franchisor, Resi and Pinks taught us things we didn't know, and it really opened my eyes to the right franchisor will make you such a better business person and help you become a better business owner for all of your future endeavors. Now, it may be Kathryn and Morgan that you guys continue to just thrive as Soccer Stars franchise owners, and franchisees around you, you're able to buy them out and amass a 10-unit franchise and one day flip it for $3 million. Or it may be that one day you decide, you know what, it doesn't fit in my life anymore, and you can sell to a neighboring franchisee. I think that's something also that people don't talk enough about, is that in franchising, your exit strategy is built in, whether it's a neighboring franchisee that you sell your franchise to eventually, or buying neighboring franchisees to get to the point where you reach that exit number that you want.
Yes, I love that, Jack. And I think the exit strategy is not necessarily a bad thing. And I think sometimes people look at it, oh, why did you sell? Why did you get out? And it's usually the person. It's not the franchise. Sometimes it is, but like with Soccer Stars, I know it's not going to be. It would be a life change or something like we've grown, and that's the ceiling for us. And now it's time for someone else to move into that position.
Like you
Exactly.
said,
I think there's always, oh, go ahead.
no, you go.
No, there's always an exit, and there's always different reasons. So franchising can be for life. It can be for a short period of time. It can be flexible to your schedule. For you guys, having Soccer Stars and then coming on with the Franchise Insiders, it's showing that there's flexibility with that. And then, you can reevaluate in a year or two, which one is really the one that's, fueling your fire, bringing in the most income, or, what is it that you want to wake up for every morning? Which one's really pushing you in that direction, and you can make that decision. So I love that. I love the flexibility with it and the ability to, expand or grow or sell if you need to.
I love that. And yeah, it's true. It's like, I love what you said, Jack, like making us better business owners. I mean, I'm such a lifelong learner, constantly curious. And so I love learning. And Morgan, we've been learning a ton at Soccer Stars. I learned, oh my gosh, becoming a business owner was a huge learning curve. And so now that I understand that, if that hadn't happened, Morgan and I wouldn't be talking on the Franchise Insiders, right? Because we wouldn't have been franchise owners. So it's like just leaning into what feels right, trust your gut. And like, yeah, you're buying a franchise, but that's just the beginning. What's next? Jack, I remember when you and I talked, you're like, yeah, Kathryn, like we're talking now, but we'll be talking in a few years. You'll be coming back and we'll be getting your, how are we going to build out your portfolio? What's next? Little did we know, we didn't know at that time, right? It would be the Franchise Insiders, but then maybe it'll be another franchise. Who knows? Like the sky, the limits are endless. And I don't know. It's a win-win in my opinion.
I mean, Pinks gave us the knowledge to turn Franchise Insiders into a bigger business. I mean, it's taking those repeatable systems. And this is what I say to people all the time: choose your franchise wisely, because you're going to learn from this company, and it's going to make it, it will change the shape of your entrepreneurial career. But franchise with someone who you respect and who you can learn from, not just, oh man, they make the best cookie on earth, but I can't stand them. Right. Partner with people who you respect and who you can learn from and who you can get better, because you can take those lessons and implement them. And speaking of which, I understand that you guys are going to be launching your own podcast talking about franchise ownership. Is that right?
Tell us.
We are.
Yes.
It's called BFFs, Best Friends in Franchising. And it will be coming to a podcast station near you soon.
No, we're very excited. Kathryn and I have a lot of conversations on the phone about business and franchising in general. And so we thought, why are we doing this just on the phone? This is valuable information for people to hear. So we should just share it. We love sharing. We love being part of a community. And I think we can touch on so many different points of what it's like to be in the franchise business, and also what franchises are out there that maybe people don't know about, that we can speak to that. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a place where people can come and get some knowledge, and it could be life-changing and make them take that leap, that exciting leap that they need to take.
Yeah, I love that. I love the concept. I think it's something that's missing right now. You know, like you guys said, sometimes people just want to hear two girlfriends chatting about business and life, and
Yeah.
it's relatable. And they see themselves in both of you and say, gosh, I can do that too. I want to be friends with them and I want to be on their podcast, you know? So I love that. I think it's going to be really exciting for you guys.
Thank you.
So if you guys want to find out when their podcast goes live, go to thefranchiseinsiders.com, hit up our contact page and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to work with either Kathryn or Morgan, they both have, if you go to our team page on thefranchiseinsiders.com, you'll find their bios as well as a button that says work with Kathryn, work with Morgan. And I highly suggest you reach out to either or both. We are so thrilled to have them on on our team. They are both just exceptional high performers, but more than anything, they are good people who want to help you guys navigate this franchise ownership path. And so there's so many great things we're going to do to help people change their lives and do just like what you guys have done in the space of 2 years, all the things you guys have done to grow your businesses and succeed. And it's not that hard. And it doesn't actually take that long. Now, we will always tell all of you guys that have patience during the first couple of years. But once you get past that, it really does grow into something so special. So you guys, thank you so much for being on our podcast today. I know all of our listeners are just going to appreciate the nuggets that you guys have shared today. And definitely will be subscribing to your podcast when it drops here on wherever the podcast can be found.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're excited.
Guys.
Thank you, guys.
Hold down clean. We bought a franchise. We bought a franchise.